The Microtox LX software runs solely on the Microtox LX, eliminating compatibility and connectivity issues. It introduces a new, fully automated color correction method that eliminates the need for additional equipment, such as a spectrophotometer. To begin using the Microtox LX software, open the software. The Logon dialog box will appear. The Logon dialog box first requires selecting the database you want to work with, either via Browse for an existing database or via Create for creating a new database. To use a database file with the software, the user must have an account and password on the current database associated with the application. Each account has a unique username, a password, and an access level. Each new database contains a default account of user-level access with the username of user and no password, and also a default manager-level account with username manager and password manager. Select the appropriate account, type in the password, and click OK. This will take you to the Microtox LX startup screen. The startup screen gives the user shortcuts to the commonly used functions: checking sample results, running an acute toxicity test, or running a specialty test. Selecting the appropriate option box starts the particular function. Selecting either Run Test options opens additional dialog boxes for test selection. Selecting a test protocol for running a test can either be done from the main screen by clicking on Run Acute Toxicity Test or Run Specialty Test, or it can be done by clicking Test on the menu bar and scrolling down to the two previously mentioned Run Test options. Both the main screen and menu bar test options bring you through the same series of dialog boxes for selecting a test protocol. Clicking on Run Acute Toxicity Test takes you to the Select Test Protocol dialog box. This dialog box presents you with three main options: selecting from any of the 17 standard protocols, selecting from previously created custom protocols, or selecting from previously created site QA tests. There is a pop-up on the Select Test Protocol dialog box screen for Test Selection Assistant. Clicking on Run Specialty Test gives you the option of selecting protocols for quality assurance. For quality assurance testing, you can select either of the two standard tests, phenol standard or zinc sulfate standard. Use the drop-down arrow and select the standard you want to run and click on Quality Assurance to start the test. Microtox LX includes the Test Selection Assistant, TSA Wizard, which guides the user to which test protocol would best be employed for a particular sample type. The first time you select Run Acute Toxicity Test and the Select Test Protocol dialog box appears, the Test Selection Assistant Wizard dialog will appear and the user will be asked if they want to use the TSA. If yes is chosen, then the user is guided through a series of dialog boxes, with the end result being a suggested test protocol. The user can then accept the suggestion, restart the Test Selection Assistant, or cancel the Test Selection Assistant. If the suggestion is accepted, the Test Protocol Parameters dialog box for the suggested test protocol will open and the test can be used. If the user chooses not to use the TSA, then there will be another dialog asking about future use of the TSA. The user can turn off future use of the TSA automatic dialog. However, the TSA will always be available by clicking on Assistant at the bottom of the Select Test Protocol dialog box. The Test Protocol Parameters dialog can be opened after the user has selected a test protocol from the Run Test Selection dialog and displays all of the parameters associated with the currently chosen test, or it can be opened in View mode when the user wishes to see the default settings of the test protocol by selecting File and Open Test Protocol. It can also be opened in editing mode when the user wishes to edit or create their own custom protocol by using File, New Custom Protocol. Lastly, it can be opened when adding a site or QA test to the database for trend monitoring. When the Test Protocol Parameters dialog box is opened, the user will see the main dialog box with the name of the test protocol, a sample description section, and 4 tabs for Test Setup, Dilutions, Times, and Advanced. In edit mode, the sample description box allows the user to enter a brief description to identify the current sample. The Test Setup tab displays control and sample parameters, such as number of controls and samples, plus control and sample replicates. The Dilutions tab displays the number of dilutions, initial concentration, dilution factor, and concentration units. The Times tab displays the read times. The Advanced tab has a section for reagent lot number input. When creating a custom protocol or setting up a site QA trend monitoring, the user may change the values of certain parameters within valid limits. For example, setting the number of sample dilutions to values greater than the instrument is capable of holding will cause an error message to be displayed when the OK button is pressed. To create a custom protocol, click File on the menu bar and select New Custom Protocol. The Custom Test Protocol dialog box will open. This dialog box has a section for naming the new custom protocol. The dialog box also allows the user to start with one of the 17 standard protocols, or use the Test Selection Assistant to suggest a test protocol with which to start. After a test protocol is selected, the user then modifies the parameters on the 4 tabs, clicks OK, and the custom protocol is saved with the assigned name and ready for use. The new custom protocol can be opened from the Run Acute Toxicity Test tab on the main screen or from the menu bar, File, Run Acute Toxicity Test, selecting Custom Protocols and clicking on the appropriate custom protocol. Please note, the test tutor does not function with custom protocols. Data which has been stored in the application database may be edited by users who have an access level of Manager. This is achieved from the Sample Results window by simply clicking on the cell of the appropriate data grid, representing the value you wish to change, and retyping the desired value. Note that only cells in columns that represent light readings may be edited. Other columns, such as gamma or percent effect, cannot be modified. When data is edited by users of Manager access level, the new value is displayed on the data grid in brackets to highlight the changed cells. Even if the values are changed back to the original readings, the brackets remain, indicating that the values were changed at some point. There are 5 drop-down menus on the menu bar. The File menu has options for Open Test Protocol, which allows viewing of the various test protocol parameters, New Custom Protocol, which allows creating a custom protocol, Delete Custom Protocol for deleting previously created custom protocols, Delete Sample Results for deleting sample results, Manage Trend Sites for managing QA and trend sites, Log Off to log off and allow another user access to the application, and Exit to exit the application. To delete a custom protocol, click on File in the menu bar and select Delete Custom Protocol. Highlight the name of the custom test protocol you want to delete and click on Delete. A Delete Confirmation dialog will appear. Click Yes if you really want to delete the highlighted custom protocol, then click Close if you are finished deleting custom protocols. To delete sample results, click on File in the menu bar and select Delete Sample Results. This opens a list of all the sample results in the current database. Click on the sample result you wish to delete and click the Delete button at the bottom of the window. Manager access is required for this action. The Test menu has the same 3 options as the main startup screen: Sample Results, Run Acute Toxicity Test, and Run Specialty Test, plus the additional option of Trend Monitoring. Sample results are displayed immediately after a test is completed and saved, or can be viewed by selecting Sample Results in the Test menu. Using Sample Results in the Test menu brings up a list of all sample results in the current database. The list can then be filtered by test protocol, user, from, to dates, and location. Specific results are then selected by clicking on the appropriate row and then clicking the Open button at the bottom of the screen. The icons at the top of the window allow the user to view the test parameters, create report, and export data. The Sample Results window consists of 2 sections which display a graph and the data grid, as well as a statistics frame which displays the calculated statistical data for the currently selected set of results. The Trend Monitoring Setup dialog box provides the ability for users to monitor the results of tests performed at specified test sites or for QA tests over time, allowing any trends in the results to be identified. For trend monitoring to be performed, a test protocol must be selected to be used to obtain the trend data for a site or QA test. The user must first create a new trend site via the Trend Sites Management dialog box, available from File menu, Manage Trend Sites. The created trend site is then stored in the application database, and the test parameters associated with each site test are stored in a separate test template file. Site or QA test can then be run by any user as an option from the Run Acute Toxicity Test button on the main screen or from the test menu. The results can then be plotted in the trend monitoring window, which shows how a pre-selected value, such as EC50, varies over time and can be filtered to show data obtained by a specific user. To view the trend monitored data, the user must be logged onto the database with an access level of Manager. To manage trend sites, click on File in the menu bar and select Manage Trend Sites. This option will only be available when the user has an access level of Manager. If this option is selected and no previous site or QA test details have been recorded in the database, the user will be prompted to select a file name for the test template file, which will be created to store test parameters for the test to be used for trend monitoring. The dialog also contains a Start with Test Protocol section, from which the user may select a test protocol from 11 standard protocols as the starting point for creating the specified test for the site. Screening test protocols cannot be used for trend site monitoring. After creating the trend site test protocol, press Add, and these parameters will be stored to the specified trend monitoring template file and may no longer be edited. The new site data will then be added to the database. Trend tests for this site may then be run by selecting Trend Monitoring from the test menu as usual, choosing the desired site from the displayed list. The Trend Site Management dialog will also display a list of any sites currently stored in the database. The Tools menu has 3 drop-down items: User Accounts for adding and deleting user accounts, Change Passwords for managing account passwords, and Options for managing settings. The User Accounts dialog box allows the user accounts in the current database to be edited, removed, or created. The options available depend upon the access level of the current user. Managers will be able to see all user-level accounts on the current database, including their passwords. Manager level is also able to add, edit, or remove user-level accounts, as well as being able to see other manager accounts. Meanwhile, user-level accounts will only be able to see their own accounts. The Add button allows the manager to create a new account on the current database. User level cannot add, create new accounts. The default accounts created when a new database is created cannot be removed or edited in any way. The Change Passwords dialog box allows the manager or user to change and verify their own passwords. Clicking on the Options section in the Tools drop-down menu displays the Microtox LX Settings dialog box. This dialog box has 3 tabs, allowing the user to modify settings for calculations, testing, and reports. The Calculations tab provides the user with the ability to modify the way calculations are performed and the manner in which data is displayed. The Use EC and Use IC option buttons allow the user to determine whether EC or IC is used throughout the text of the application. The default value selection box, set to 50, allows the choice of the actual value to be calculated. For example, EC50, EC20, IC25, and will accept any integer value between 1 and 99. AutoCalc, when enabled, causes the system to find the best set of data from the points available to give the smallest confidence factor when performing the regression calculations. Points which are used in the calculation will be marked with the pound symbol. Those that are unused are not marked. Allow deletion of data points, when enabled, allows the user to delete data points from the statistical calculations by selecting the data point in question from the data grid or graph, then selecting the Delete Data Point option from the Data menu. The calculations will be redone and the deleted point will be ignored. Deleted points are marked with an asterisk. Calculate Toxicity Units, when enabled, causes the EC-IC concentration to be displayed in toxicity units on the statistics frame. Use Perverse Regression, when enabled, causes the statistical calculations to be performed using regression of log gamma on log concentration, ASTM method, as opposed to regression of log concentration on log gamma, which is initially used as default. Plot a line of best fit, when enabled, causes the line of best fit to be drawn for the currently selected set of data. Once the OK button is pressed, the new options will be saved to the application configuration file, and these will apply to all new windows opened thereafter. The Testing tab has a current option of deselecting the use of the test tutor. The Report tab allows the user to set up the overall layout of Microtox LX reports. The user can create the title of the report and add a picture from a file, such as a bitmap image, by checking Show Custom Picture and specifying the file name by clicking Browse and selecting the appropriate file. The image can then be positioned on the report as required. The user can add custom text for the report by typing in their preferred text in the Custom Text box. Reports can be further customized by selecting any of the 4 display options: plot of gamma, plot of percent effect, signature line, and time date. This allows the user to select which items they wish to display or remove from the report by checking or unchecking the various options provided. The Help menu options are Topics, which takes you to the Microtox LX help files, and About, which provides basic info on the Microtox LX. To run a test protocol, select Run Acute Toxicity Test or Run Specialty Test on the main screen, or select Test on the menu bar and then select either of the 2 previously mentioned test options. Selecting Run Specialty Test opens the Select Specialty Test window for selecting either of the 2 quality assurance test protocols. To run a quality assurance test, click on the drop-down arrow under the Quality Assurance box to bring up both QA tests. Then highlight the QA test you wish to run and click the Quality Assurance bar. This opens the Test Protocol Parameters dialog box. There are 4 tabs on this dialog box: Test Setup, Dilutions, Times, and Advanced. You will need to enter the reagent lot number on the Advanced tab and then click OK to begin the test. After pressing OK, the Parameters dialog is closed and a sample information window opens for you to input location and sample name. Clicking OK closes the sample information window, and the well display window will now open. If the test tutor system has been enabled, then the test tutor window will also open and will guide the user through the full test protocol, from preparation of samples to running the test. Otherwise, the user is prompted to press the Start button on the well display to begin the test. The user is then guided through the acquisition of light readings by the message labels on the graphic display. While the test tutor is enabled, the test tutor window opens whenever a test is run. Simultaneously, the well display window provides instructions on the steps to be performed to start the actual test and proceed through obtaining or inputting the light readings. Pressing the right blue arrow moves on to the next page of the test tutor. Pressing the left blue arrow allows the user to step back through the sequence. Clicking the Close button X at any time will close the test tutor window, and test tutor cannot be reopened until you start a new test. However, the well display test procedure will continue as usual. Test tutor does not function with custom protocols. The help files can be hidden by clicking the hide icon at the top. Click Show to unhide the help files. On completion of the test, statistical calculations will be performed on the newly acquired data and the results displayed in the sample results window. Users can cancel a test at any time by clicking on the drop-down arrow at the top of the well display dialog box and selecting Cancel Test. This will bring up a pop-up box to confirm the request to cancel the test. The well display and test tutor, if opened, will then close. Data from the test will not be saved, and the test may not be resumed at a later time. The well display window consists of a graphic box and 2 message panels and provides the user with a useful visual aid to running tests and acquiring data. The graphic box shows the layout of wells on the instrument or support block used to hold the cuvettes required to run the selected test. The wells are labeled numerically by column and alphabetically by row. The wells on the graphic display are shaded to depict the actual contents of the wells in the instrument, while empty cells are uncolored. The colors used are explained in a key at the side of the graphic display. The well from which the next reading is to be taken is highlighted by a bold circle. The lower message panel shows the user the label of the previous well, as well as the light reading. The lower message panel will normally display the current progress of the test and the countdown status of the next test time. The lower message panel is the Start button to start the test. The countdown timer will pop up in the lower right of the well display window at the appropriate time after the Start button has been pressed, showing the countdown to the next set of readings. The graphic window at the top contains a drop-down arrow with selections to View Parameters, Correct Previous, Cancel Timer, Skip Reading, and Cancel. When a test has been completed, the Test Completed dialog box will appear for inputting the name of the test results to be saved. If the name was inputted when starting the test, then this field is pre-populated. If the name was not inputted, then inputting the name in the Save Test Result As field and clicking OK closes the Test Completed dialog box and the Well Display window, and then brings up the test results window. The Microtox LX Report Viewer shows the report generated for the test results and allows the user to print and export the report. There are two icons at the top of the report viewer. The first on the left is the Export Report icon, and the second on the right is the Print Report icon. The Export Report function allows the report to be exported with a number of different file extensions, including PDF. The Trend Setup tab reopens the Trend Monitoring Setup dialog to allow the user to choose a different site QA test, change the monitored value, and filter results. To specify a QA trend test, from the main menu bar, select Test, Trend Monitoring, click on QA Test, and then highlight the standard you wish to monitor.